So in Lizzy, whenever you're doing things like moving money from one checking account to another, or you're uh, using certain parts of the application, like refinancing a purchase order, the system uses what we call a flush account to go in and then back out of that account to deal with things. And so in theory, the flush account should always have a zero balance because whatever got put in it should have gotten taken out. Well, to make sure that the flush account always has a zero balance and to give you the ability to go in and fix problems, we have added a report, or we have a report, it's been here forever, to the accounting section. So if we go up here to reports and then go to accounting general, there is a report here for, if we go to accounting general, there's a report down here at the bottom that says reconcile your flush account. When you click on this, it's going to open up a control that is going to give you a list of all the hits that exist currently in the flush account, or the things that have gone in and come back out, or that have gone in and not come back out. And so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to hit this auto reconcile button here, because I want to get rid of all the things that Lizzy put in here. There's no reason for me to go through and have to manually click all of those things off. So I'm just going to tell it to auto reconcile, and Lizzy's going to refresh the control and give me a list of the things that it couldn't reconcile, the things that it did not put into the flush account to begin with. What I'm left with is a list of accounts that got put in the flush account on one side, or that were done manually and maybe they were broken apart. So let's just, for the sake of argument, let's pretend that these two guys got put in at the same time on a check. And we did do the opposite hit, but it's down here at the bottom, and it adds up to that amount later on. Well, in that case, Lizzy couldn't reconcile it because it doesn't know that all of this stuff is related. So you would go in and you would select the three items that should reconcile between the credits and debits. And then you come up here and hit the refresh button. And as long as everything matches, Lizzy will go ahead and take those off the list. It says, okay, well, those must match and we're good. Now, in this particular case, though, we've got a $9.99 fee here that doesn't have an offsetting hit. There's something going on here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down $9.99 because I want to make sure that I've got the amount here for what we're going to do. And we're going to click the plus sign up here at the top right of the browser to open up a new tab, because I want to keep this report open. And so once I get the report open, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab this transaction ID. We're going to go over to our other tab, and we're going to come down here to locate general ledger. So I'm in accounting, and I'm going to close the checking for a minute. I'm in accounting, general ledger, locate. I'm going to come over here to the bottom, select GL transaction ID, and we're going to put this transaction ID in. What I'm after is what caused this hit. And looking at this, I can see that this is dealing with the bank, and I can see that the description on it says checking account, debit, credit card. So this was an entry that was actually put into the checkbook, and the clearing account was chosen as the offsetting entry. Well, that really doesn't make any sense at all unless the entry were put in here because of a depositing money into a credit card account, for example, to pay off a credit card debt or something similar. So there really is no situation, unless there's an offset to it somewhere, where I would want to hit the flush account, this clearing account, like this. This just doesn't make any sense. So in reality, what has happened here is I've got an item here that didn't get in the right account. It looks like, looking at this, it looks like maybe it was a computer expense and they accidentally chose the wrong account number. Now, I have a couple different ways to fix this. I could go to the checkbook and void this entry out and create a new check and choose the proper account. That's one thing that I could do. The other thing that we could do is we could actually go and just create a manual hit to move this out of this clearing account and put it into the proper account, which is what I'm going to do. The reason behind this is that I do want to go look at the check. because I want to make sure that we're looking at the right information. So I normally I'm going to go look at it to see if there's any hint on that check to tell me what it was for. But in any case, I need to move it. The clearing account cannot have this balance sitting in it for no good reason. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that they meant to choose the computer expense account instead of this account. And so we're going to come over to our general ledger control, and we're going to tell it to create an adjustment. And I'm just going to choose December of last year. We'll just put December 31st of last year. We'll put in fixing mistake on clearing account or flush account. And down here, I'm just going to choose the where I think this thing should have been put. And so we're going to come down here to computer expense. We're going to put in our $9.99. And then I'm going to choose my flush account, which is $199. And we're going to put in the same amount. And now the question is am I debiting or crediting this? And if we flip back over here to our control, you can see that the entry that is in here is a debit. And so I'm naturally going to want to credit that account to get rid of this. And so all we're going to do is we're going to come back over here, and we're going to tell it for the 199 account, we're going to credit that amount, we're going to debit the other, and then we're going to tell it to process the adjustment. Now we're going to come back over here to this control, and we're going to tell it to refresh. And so I'm going to hit the refresh button. You'll notice that it went from 9 to 10 records here. But what I'm interested in is this 999. So we're going to select it. We're going to go down here to the bottom because the date was later than when that was actually written. And we're going to choose the other side of it. So I've basically given it both sides of that 999. So it went in and it went back out. And then we're just going to tell it to refresh. And now we're down to 8 records. So we're just going to repeat that. We're going to try to find out what that money should have gone to, because it should always have some reason for getting put in the checkbook or wherever it hit. We're going to try to find it. If we can't, we're just going to have to make an educated guess as to what account it ought to hit. Again, you can go and void the check and put it back in. The problem there is if the account has already been reconciled, the checkbook's already been reconciled, that causes a whole nother bunch of issues that you probably don't want to get into. So the easier route to fix this is to just make a manual general ledger entry. Our goal here is to get all of these entries to disappear off this list, because an empty flush account is a happy flush account.